Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. As you guys can see, we are in the shop, and today we'll be not working on any of the cars. Today's going to be kind of another shop update, equipment update, whatever you want to call that. Just basically working on the stuff that we have to basically support the projects that we do around the shop. So as you guys saw last week, we did some modifications to the air compressor. We did that whole paint filtration system. Well, today we're going to be doing one more modification to the air compressor, and what that is basically going to try to silence that air compressor. This air compressor is a 80-gallon tank, and I think it's a 5 horsepower motor. It might be 4. It's something like that. I've long since forgotten what the specification on that is. But basically what we're doing is trying to add a muffler system to silence how loud this thing is. So this little piece of plastic is actually the kind of OEM intake muffler. It's just held on with these screws. So as you can see, unfortunately, we don't have the traditional round hole, that the mufflers usually screw into. Usually a lot of these have like a 3/4 inch threaded boss, and you could just go ahead and put a 90 on there and thread your silencer right into this thing. Unfortunately, we're going to do things a little bit different, but we do have some fabrication tools around here. We've got drill press, bandsaw, grinding table, all that stuff. So we pretty much got all the tools that we need, so let's go ahead and show you what we need to get this thing quieted down. So what we have here is a muffler and air filter from, I believe it's Solberg. I might be pronouncing that wrong, but no, it's right here. Yeah, so here's your Solberg. This is a 5 or 6 inch round filter. We've got our muffler, and this basically has its 3/4 inch thread, like we were saying earlier. Got a 90 from a local hardware store. We're gonna weld that to some sheet metal. And yeah, so we've got that into the muffler, a brass adapter from 3/4 male to 3/4 male into the air intake filter. Now, I had actually ordered a female threaded muffler, but I was sent a male muffler. Not a bigger deal. I'm not gonna bother trying to send this thing back because the muffler itself was like $85. And yeah, some people might go ahead and try to send it back, but it was $1 for that brass fitting. Maybe it was $2, so not a big deal. We'll just go ahead and deal with it. So now, to try to give you guys some scientific information, I'm not going to say this is a perfect measure or anything. I did download a decibel meter on my phone. I'm going to put my phone approximately 10-15 feet away from the air compressor. That way you guys get a idea of how loud this thing is. So as you guys can see here, I don't have anything on. It's about between 30 and 40 decibels in here with, no extra noise. And now you guys can see with the air compressor on, it's up to 85 to 87 decibels. So when you have the garage closed and this thing fired up going 87 decibels, that is seriously super loud. So the muffler says it's supposed to cut it down by 30 decibels. I doubt we'll get that much, but hey, if we can reduce it by anything, I'd be happy with that, because I seriously hate how loud this air compressor is. So to mount the muffler as well as the air filter to the air compressor inlet, you can basically see that we're cutting the angle iron. We're going to be cutting out a flat piece, and we're going to bolt that to the air compressor intake. Alright, so you saw us cut out this flat plate. I did hit it with the angle grinder and just clean up the surface a little bit. Basically what we're going to do is weld this to that, something like that, and we'll be good to go. The only bad part about this setup is you guys can see this 3/4 inch hole is actually bigger than the slot that they have for the intake. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to trace out the shape of this onto my piece of metal over here. And then we're going to drill a small hole and to keep it within the boundaries of that, if that makes sense. So to maximize airflow and prevent any leakage, I don't want to have, a hole on the backside going through where we're trying to seal this up. So, all right, guys, I'm not sure what you guys can see, but I did take a impression, if that makes sense. Basically just took this yellow piece of paper, stuck it over the flange, rubbed it with, there's enough dirt in here to where I just rubbed a shape on it, and we were able to get our outline of both the slot, the rectangle, as well as our two mounting holes. And I did scribe it. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see that on camera, but Well, I can see it. Yeah, I see the vertical line. And then the 2 dots, I did use a silver marker on that. So basically what we're going to do is I am going to drill a hole in the middle of the flange, basically the rectangle. And we're just going to make sure that we don't go over the size of this hole when we go to weld this. So basically we'll have a hole here, and our 2 other holes will be our mounting holes, and that should do it for us. As you guys can see, we are drilling the pilot holes for the mounting flange. Now we're going to drill the actual size for the mounting flange, so the correct bolt size. And now we're drilling the center hole for the 90-degree fitting so that the air can pass through the flange. Alright guys, so we got our 3 holes drilled, basically your 2 outer holes, and then the inner hole will be this one. And basically what we're trying to do is, I think we're going to try to center the iron 90, you know, on the outskirt of this hole, and then I'll mark it where we want to place this so when we go to weld it. But for now, I think what I want to do is I actually wanted to go get a unibit and try to make this hole bigger to try to get it, you know, as much airflow into this 90 as we can. But like I said, we have to be careful because we don't want to go outside the perimeter of this rectangle. I'm not sure. Okay, you guys can see the one line there, the one line there. We basically don't want to go on the outside of that perimeter. All right, guys, you can see we have the outside perimeter marked in green of our 90-degree fitting. It was roughly 1/4 inch in thickness, so I kind of made an inside perimeter just to give you an idea of what it was. And if you guys can see, you can see the line that we stenciled out with a scribe, that we scribed out. You see the line on top, you can see the line on bottom. This unibit was actually the perfect diameter, but for the top and bottom of that. So we should be good. So if we hold this up, you know, we're not going to exceed the width of that flange. So yeah, so something, there's your holes. So something like that. Yeah, we should be good. All right, guys, we have our flange as well as the 90 piece. I'm just gonna tack it, see if I like it, and then we'll go ahead and finish welding it. All right, guys. If you see inside there, the threads aren't that far off. If I have to, I can always trim out like we said, but let's go ahead and actually keep welding. Guys, I don't know if you saw the welder splatting, but if you can see this tip right here, during one of the last welding projects, some splatter actually hit and gunked up this tip. I was like, what the heck? So I don't think I can clean that. I've already gone ahead and replaced it, but the unfortunate thing is I'm actually out of MIG welder tips. I'm gonna have to order. These are 30 thousandths, so 0.030. I need to buy some more of these. Well, I'm not super proud of this weld. The welder is, it's making a weird noise, so I don't know if that's, it's not beeping, it's almost like it's the feed, but the feed just ran just fine, so I don't know what the heck's going on. So, but yeah, so this is done. All right, guys, we have the flange and the 90-degree fitting mounted to the compressor. This is tight. It's not super tight because I'm not sure if this is aluminum or magnesium. We don't want to strip that out, so it's just hand tight. And as you guys can see on top, we do have our 3/4 inch threaded fitting. So we'll put our muffler and the filter on top of that. So you can see we have the fully assembled filter and muffler combination, and I actually have already bolted it up to the air compressor. And I did turn the compressor on. It was a little quieter, but I did feel like we were getting some air coming in from the top and bottom. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is use this ultra black gasket maker. You guys will remember I used this on the PCV valley cover system on the Corvette. All right, well, this does look kind of crude, but we do have the gasket material all the way around it, so we should be able to seal this up. All right, guys, here is the muffler and filter finally installed. As you guys did see, we did put that ultra black on here. It does say wait up for 24 hours to set. All right, guys, it's been 24 hours since we put that gasket maker material on there, and I just fired up the air compressor. It is quieter, but the decibel meter, as you guys can see here, still says between 85 and 87 decibels. I'm not going to trust that. I could trust my ear versus some, microphone app, cheap app that was free. I'm sure if I actually had a real decibel meter, there would be able to see some difference. So I tried my best to give you a scientific proof that it did actually reduce the noise. But my best description would be that it has knocked it down. It has knocked down the high pitchiness of it. It has made it more mellow. It's just simply reduced the how high in the scale like that the noise was. It is, just definitely dropped it down a few octaves. Now, is that scientific? No, not at all. I will say this, I did just test it. I didn't feel any air rushing out where the air filter used to be, where we put the gasket maker. That looks all sealed up. I checked this fitting, I checked that fitting up there. I didn't feel any air coming in. Like I said, it's probably not 100% airtight, but I think it will be fine for what it is. Now, it was a ton of work to get this thing set up because, like I said, we don't have a standard air compressor, which has a threaded hole for an intake. It had a rectangle that I had to cut out, modify, put a plate there, weld a 90 to it, and do our own setup. So if you guys have a more traditional, probably a newer air compressor, these things might bolt right on with just a 90 and, your adapters and the muffler and the filter. Like I said, we were able to get it done with some welding, some tools that we have in the shop. I'll give you guys an update on this in a couple months, but, this is just for our painting project, and I didn't want to hear this thing all day. But yeah, so for about the $100 I have in this project, the muffler was like $80. I think the filter was like $10 or $15. And a couple fittings that we had to buy, and probably like 5 or 6 hours worth of our time. I don't think I have that much time into it. We have reduced the noise of it, and we should be good to go. So if you guys like this video, hit that like button. If you guys want to see more shop updates, truck content, whatever, hit that subscribe button, turn on your bell notifications. But if you guys want to help support the channel, check all the links down below. We'll have links to the muffler, the filter, and all that stuff. I may only be able to get you a part number for the muffler because I think I had to buy that on eBay because Amazon was out of stock. But we'll see what we can get you, and we'll drop all those links. And also make sure you check out our website, BonecrrusherSS.com. We do have some new Duramax merchandise, so all that stuff's out there on our website. Thanks, guys. Have a great one.